evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Triggered. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam Furman. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Doing okay.
Doing okay. That's what we like to hear. All right, folks, sit back, relax. We got a great show for you tonight. Got myself a icy cold beverage right here in my hand.
Gonna have to switch out the ice cold stuff soon. Just drink warm.
Yeah, but you know the burning whiskey does help my podcast voice.
Warm beer.
Warm beer is gross. People who drink warm beer are gross. But I forgot to mention, Adam, that tonight, you may not even notice, but we're coming to you live straight from the new Metaverse.
Can you replay the Metaverse's theme song there?
It might have sounded an awful lot like part of the new Sabatone release because it's played in my head like a soundtrack for the last day and a half.
I was gonna say, it definitely rang like a Christmas song.
It is, because he has like that. He's got like that riff built into the front of the song.
Yes. Really every day in the Metaverse, it's Christmas.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Facebook has changed the name of their company to Meta, and they're going to be launching what they're calling the Metaverse, which is a new way to interact online.
Yeah, it's Second Life.
It's like Second Life.
Looks like Second.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
You have a virtual avatar, and then you go into virtual space, and it looks like cringe 10 years ago CGI online game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Metaverse. But Adam had had an observation about the logo here. Seemed to think it looked like vas deferens, did you say?
It definitely looks like male anatomy.
Well, I thought that sort of. I could see that, but it more reminded me of, in general, the anatomical drawings.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
A lady, you see? But it does have that swooping nature to it, in either way. Meta logo. More in line with the fallopian tubes, I feel.
Like, they have to know this, and they're still just doing it, just to show that they can.
I don't know, maybe they're into it. It's like a woman's world nowadays, or whatever. Maybe they wanted to show solidarity with female, I don't even know. Birthing person reproductive anatomy. Because as we all know, trans men are men, and they can get pregnant and have babies. All right. Well, I wouldn't want to get too far afield before we get into what's been happening in the scanner.
Get another comment.
Scanner radio. And this is important because breaking news on the scanner at breaking news. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention tested a version of the product and found a dangerous bacteria in a form of essential oils sold at Walmart in like 15 states, including Missouri and Illinois. It can cause a potentially deadly infection.
Whoa.
So if you or the significant other in your life is one of those essential oil crazies, use this as an excuse to purge that devilry right out of your house. Speaking of things that are fake,
Is this a Roman temple?
uh, oh well, I'll get into that. I do have a updates and things that are fake segment, but we'll stick with the old scanner here. See what else we got from the inbox. Broadway. 4 males driving 90 miles an hour plus, throwing eggs at cars, hanging halfway out of the vehicle. Sounds like they've been going all over town doing this in the last hour. Gonna cause an accident or crash themselves. Be on the lookout. Dun, dun, dun. Cold weather brings
90?
out the dinguses.
The dingoes.
This is what we need. We need a specific ordinance outlawing 80-mile-an-hour eggings.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not enough to have property damage and speeding stuff. We have to have a specific regulation tailored to address this particular evil
Yes.
that's
No,
plaguing our neighborhoods.
no more than 3 male youths aged 13 to 17, and no less than 5 speeding in a car over 55.
There you go. Otherwise, it's a $10 fine. Oh, yes.
90 miles. Does this say 90 miles an hour?
Yeah, it's just from the inbox or whatever. So it's just some crank writing into the scanner.
90 miles an hour?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past some idiots. You may not know this, but when I was a teenager, I used to get up to no good. And among the things that my friends and I would do is we would get a loaf of bread from the store for $1, and we would drive down to the college campus in Normal and throw it out the window at pedestrians.
How many loaves of bread did you do? Or you just throw on pieces of bread?
Pieces. Just throw.
Like
You could discus them like little frisbees.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, or you could like wad them up into a big bread ball. You get some aerodynamics and you fling them at people. We called it bunning.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Kids, they do whatever they're gonna do.
Kids.
One time, apparently, and I wasn't there this time, but we had agitated. The friend group had agitated a person with a large truck, and the truck had pinned them between a red light and itself, and it started pushing them into the intersection. They were trying to flee from it, but my buddy, a little distraught, was still using his turn signal to direct where he was going and stopping at all the traffic signals.
No, you need that's one of the things is you never make a person mad at like a red light or something. You need to have an escape route.
Yeah, it was like they encountered one they couldn't go through because of traffic or whatever, and the guy caught up, and then
then you force yourself through and just like lay on the horn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, or wasn't driving. I remember one time I was driving my friend's Mustang.
Works in the movies.
When we were doing it, and we were like in some like behind frat house parking lots, and I actually like jumped between two of these parking lots over a little dirt median, bottomed out his new Mustang.
Ooh,
that was a good time. Anyway, kids being kids, whipping eggs at folks. But my whole comment was a riff because in town they have a ban against shooting BB guns. And I think that's stupid.
There are a lot of stupid. I remember looking at just seriously look at some of these city ordinances in your town. Most of them are dumb. I know that like I was looking at sometime for I think it was Mount Sterling's laws or whatnot. They had like you can't bounce a ball in like a distracting manner on the sidewalk or some garbage. It's probably not even ever enforced, and I really wonder what required that thing to be passed. But it was something absurd like that. It's like,
There
what
were
are you
some
talking
dang
about?
kids playing by the road, bouncing a ball, making it think that it was going to roll in the street and somebody had to slam on the brakes. Dang kids. All these laws are dang kids laws. These dang kids with their
Are
BB
you going to give
guns.
a 7-year-old a ticket? You're the
Dang
type of
kids.
person who wants to give a 7-year-old a ticket.
Yeah, it's just
Maybe
like to,
slap.
I don't know. Well, the city
Maybe slap.
passed it as a feel good thing or whatever. Maybe who knows.
Ugh. Ugh. No.
Uh,
City council do it passing laws anyways.
yeah, we should abolish all laws. Live in an
Except some laws.
anarchy state.
All laws should be abolished except some. And then we're good.
All the ones except for the ones I like. Another one from the inbox. Hey, someone on Elm and 24th got in our car when I yelled at them. Lock your doors, people. Apparently, they had the male subject stopped at 20th and College. He had a valid extraditable warrant. $20,000 bail. So, I don't know. That's pretty bizarre. I've heard tale about this happening every now and then. I don't know why he got in the car and then, just by being yelled at, they left. Because it sounds like a carjacking, kidnapping situation. Like, now get out of my car! Oh, sorry. I didn't know you'd be upset about this. I'll be on my way. That's usually when they pull the gun out, you know?
Dude, I don't know. There was this there was this weird situation once. My wife was picking me up in like the roundabout from school once, and she had parked there and she was on her phone, and some other dude was on his phone walking, and he opened up the door and got in, and then they both realized, they're like, ah!
Is that the right car?
That's not the right car. It's not the right person. I was like right there. I'm like, what's going on? So I don't know. He could have been on his phone.
I've heard tell of that happening too. Where it's like, oops, sorry about that. Wrong vehicle. Well, I don't know. It seemed very weird.
You situational awareness. I'm studying up on this right now.
Are you becoming dangerous, Adam?
You need to figure out where the danger is, or where the potential danger is.
Adam, inbox. There was another inbox story. There was a white male behind my alley, 6th and Madison, yelling for a Tom, running around with a shovel, threatening to beat Tom's ass. Where's Tom at? Oh, I'm gonna find you, Tom.
Oh my gosh, dude, that sounds like a. That sounds like a. No, that sounds like one of those randos you'd come across in like the wasteland on Fallout or whatever.
Huh?
No? BioShock?
I didn't play any of that stuff.
You didn't play any of those. No, you didn't play any of those video
I didn't
games.
play any of them video games. Maybe it was Tom from MySpace.
Why would they? He's a beloved millionaire that's faded into obscurity.
Could have been American treasure Tom Hanks. Ooh, look, a tom-tom.
That would make sense. He beat the drum.
There you go. Unhinged people. All of the good stuff's coming out of the inbox stories, though. We haven't had any good, just like straight up scanner reports. Scanner's really been letting me down this year.
Yeah, well, now that it's getting cold out, I have to literally phone it in with fake stuff. It did not happen. How can you get up to 90 miles an hour in town, Zach?
It's not hard. Look, I can get up to 40 on 18th Street. It's not that much harder to get up to 90.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Why don't you go 90 on 18th? How can you get, that's the strip of, I'm looking at it right now, the strip of street, there's not enough to get there between Maine and Vermont. What are you talking about? Or Maine to state, you can't get up to
Can't risk it.
90. You can't get up that.
Not willing to pay the fines.
Translation, I can't do that.
I totally could. I just won't. Moving on. 90's not that fast. You get up to like 75 just regular interstate driving. Especially if I drove a really fast car like a G6. Lay on that gas. Drive around.
Yeah, it would alert the police everywhere.
Uh-oh, Adam. Looks like we're getting a new hate speech policy at the local school district.
Don't even start.
The Quincy Public Schools are looking at a new hate speech policy that it clearly violates the First Amendment rights of students. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it. I might have exceeded my Herald Wig articles for the month or whatever. The superintendent says this is just a heads up to the board. It'll go through the policy committee as it normally would. Maybe he wanted to give a heads up to the board because he knew that it was a bunch of crap.
Yeah. Highly illegal.
Yes, under this policy, the Quincy Public Schools will not tolerate words, language, or action. So any words, language, or action, that refers to age, sex, race, physical or mental disabilities, religion, or sexual orientation, that lessen the dignity of any individual, regardless of the intent or purpose. Any words, language, or actions, regardless of the intent or purpose, that lessen the dignity of.
What does that even mean? Lessens the dignity?
It's just vague enough that they can apply it arbitrarily and capriciously.
No. See, we're all depraved, so we're already at 0.
Yep.
Your Honor, when I said that word, they're already.
No, it's gone. There's no way this stands up.
No.
It
was done by like the Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Committee, right? The DI committee.
I wish it would die, but yes, I believe so. If offensive or demeaning words or actions are used, they must be met with swift and caring education, learning.
My gosh. Okay.
Redirection.
Did you ever watch Fairly? Zach, did you ever watch Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Dad became an authoritarian dictator?
Yes, vaguely.
And everyone had to smile.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Stuff like this reminds me of that. When I hear stuff like, swift and caring, I just think of you must smile.
It's the ministry of love, man. The user of such language shall be required to go through an element of restorative justice. They should be educated, nay, re-educated on why we do not allow this type of discussion. And this is the giveaway, this type of discussion. Right? It's not even just saying things, it's even discussing topics that could, wiggle into whatever puritanical box of purity that they're creating. It is settled! It shall not be discussed, Adam!
See, right now, you use the word puritanical, which is offensive to my my religion, because it harkens from the hardline Protestants.
Oh, maybe you should ask me to recant on this Reformation Week. Do it.
So you can't use that word.
Recant? I can't use that word. That's correct. I cannot use that word. If you can show me where in Scripture I am an heir, but otherwise, I cannot recant. So, tonight's episode, those on the line might be noticing, was... I don't even can't remember exactly how I worded the title. What was it? I'm going to have to pull up the thing. Hold on, we're going to go to the preview screen, guys. Loaded with victims. Victims, victims, victims. Everywhere there's victims, Adam. Unless they're rioters, looters, or arsonists. So says the judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial. People were going buck wild insane after this news. But the judge, at the trial, where a man is accused of committing murder and is using a self-defense defense, said that you can't refer to the people that he shot as the victims. The whole theory of the case is that he was the victim and he was using self-defense to protect himself. He's claiming he is the victim. So you can't load the jury up by calling the people that he shot the victims of the case. Unlike a situation where you could have a defense that said, my guy didn't do it. I am innocent. You've got the wrong man. In which case you could still have a victim of murder. Correct, but I am not the guy who victimized the victim. I'm very sorry for this victim. Wasn't me. Anyway, that's why the judge said that you weren't allowed to use victim. But he also said, apparently, in this summarized AJ Plus tweet, that he would allow them to be referred to as rioters, looters, or arsonists.
Oh, man.
And that just goes to show you, I think, where this judge is in this whole case.
Yeah, dude, this is the second... Is this the second week in a row where people are losing their dang minds over this case?
Last week it was hunting. This defense was that hunting laws allowed him to gun people down in the streets or whatever.
Now he was hunting rioters and arsonists. Oh man.
So old Kyle Rittenhouse had the lefties going, freaking out, and they're mischaracterizing this. But they were victims. He killed those people. They're like, yeah, no one's arguing they didn't kill him.
That's right. He had the right to because of self-defense.
Yeah, people don't think that you should have the right to use self-defense if they don't like you.
It was a justified killing.
He came from out of state with that gun, Adam. That means it's not allowed. Based on what law or legal theory? Based on I don't like it. That's what.
And as we know, he had open carry. It's the Wild West in Wisconsin
Yeah,
and like every other state except for Illinois.
yeah. Well,
Uh, you could open carry.
yeah, it's allowed. Walking through the streets of Kenosha with a AR strapped to your back. Apparently, that's allowed. Don't take this as legal advice. Please do your own research. Consult a lawyer in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, by coming back on me, I was carrying a gun and I got arrested. I'm not your lawyer. I am just a lawyer. Have you watched that Fudbusters guy yet?
Oh no,
See,
I am. It's
Dis-
probably a good reason I'm not.
well, at the start of every single one of his videos, he does a little intro, and then he's got a clip art face of his Yorkshire Terrier dog, and he makes its jaw move, and it says, "While the person that puts on this show is a lawyer, he is not your lawyer. Maybe if you pay him, but anyway, you slice it." It's good. He's got some good content. Recommend. But that's close enough to bring me back to things that are fake in the news. Or just in society in general. Recently, I heard about this guy. You might have trouble reading that, but this is a guy called... oh man, what was this guy's name? Ray Epps. Ray Epps was making news this past week or so because there was a bunch of videos of him at the insurrection, attack on freedom's under attack, Capitol riot, they're criminals, don't question it.
Hey, what was that? What was that last part?
And he was like, hey, this might get me arrested, but tomorrow we gotta go inside that Capitol. And everybody in the crowd's like, Fed. And they start chanting Fed.
Like when they were chanting Fed and pointing to him, like he's an obvious rat.
Clearly, he's a plant. The feds plant people in all of these things, and they use them as provocateurs to incite criminal conduct that they can then use to persecute people. It has become...
Yes, and it's to gain. The only thing I can realize is it's just to gain satanic powers. Because why else would you do something
perpetuate your own existence?
Yeah, why else would you get someone else to commit a crime that you know is bad and you're on the job of law enforcement?
Building your career? Look at the sting I set up, perpetrated, and arrested all these guys for these crimes that I had them commit. I mean, leaving off that last part.
Satanic powers, so just said that.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, sweet, Jim gets a promotion now. Look at all those extremists he was able to round up. Look how Dave took pictures of himself next to the burnt corpses of children. Fudbusters did reference David Chipman, or whatever his name is. The latest video I watched. You really should start watching that channel.
Maybe I will.
The YouTube channel is called Fudbusters. It's really good. It's a gun lawyer from Florida. So he's like Florida man meets...
I know he's from Florida.
Meets attacking the federal gun laws. Really informative. Recommend. But just going down this rabbit hole, I would recommend also Googling Ray Epps. Revolver did an expose on this whole situation, and it was so long I could not read the whole thing. All I have to do is click on it. Look. You're going to see. Check out this scroll bar. Look how tiny it is. That's how you know. It just keeps going. Forever and ever 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 and ever. Anyway, it gets into Ray Epps and some of the practices of the FBI as they relate to a different organization called the Promise Keepers, I believe. and how it's likely that Ray Epps and the leader of the Promise Keepers are fed lackeys. I guess they
No,
call them
getting
CIs,
Promise Keepers that
confidential.
are the men's discipleship for weenies for Doug Wilson, right?
No, I thought that
Different.
wasn't Promise Keepers, was it? Oath Keepers. Oath Keepers was the guy's name.
Oath Keepers is what you're talking about.
Promise Keepers.
Promise Keepers is the guys crying on the posters and saying,
Getting in touch with their feminine side because
yeah,
that's what the Lord
well,
wants.
yeah. I won't
Hold on
cheat
a
on my
second.
spouse. I'll treat my kids like they're my kids and not accessories to my lifestyle.
Didn't God make us male and female? And then, designate different roles for us in the world? Different strengths
Yeah,
and
he
weaknesses?
created an order.
Talents, maybe?
Correct. I don't know where you're going with this, but yes, he did.
I don't know. I don't know. Where
Another
I'm going with
good
this
point on Reformation Week.
The the Promise Keepers and other such groups that I don't know exactly what they're doing, but to attack sort of toxic masculinity or whatever, to embrace something or other, and I don't know. All of it sounds like a bunch of commie gobbledygook to me.
What are you talking about? Oath Keepers or Promise Keepers?
Promise Keepers. What am I talking about? What did I say?
Okay. No,
I don't know anything about the Oath Keepers.
You said Promise Keepers. You switched. I'm sorry. You switched tracks, and you were actually talking about the Promise Keepers. But it was probably. It was. God, I have flashbacks to that book. It was talking about like getting into like what it means to be. It was like servant leadership is what they're. It's like being the masculinity is serving because Jesus was the servant first. That's what their like thing was. That was like their motto, at least according to this book.
Wow, sounds like your corruption of the sacrificing head of the house.
That's like what I said.
You don't serve, but you lead and you sacrifice all of your own wants and needs for the benefit of your family. It'd be nice if you could take that hunting trip this weekend, but you're not allowed because you can't think of yourself.
Well, that's not entirely.
It's forbidden, Adam.
That's not entirely it.
You have to sacrifice yourself as Christ sacrificed himself for the church.
No.
For your family.
The appropriate, Zach. The correct answer is to bring family along with the hunting.
Yes.
Teach them, train them. That is what it is.
Yeah, if done for the right reasons, I suppose you're probably right. But if done because this is how I can rationalize my behaviors.
Yeah.
People always forget. I hear all the time, it's like, oh, the Bible, it's so anti-female. It says that the woman must submit to her husband. And I'm like, what? You gotta keep reading. He keeps going after that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is this? A husband must be willing to die?
Yeah. He must
What?
give himself up entirely. Out of love for his wife. Oh, I can't go to the bar or spend money on beer or fishing equipment. I have to actually give up those things that I want for the best of my family. How can I rationalize this so I can still do what I want and make it sound like I'm doing that?
Oh, that's why you have to. It's a thing.
Yeah, I think that people forget. Well, first off, they don't even acknowledge that second part exists.
Yeah.
And then they forget that we're all horrible, corrupt sinners, and none of us are going to live up to what we're supposed to do. And so you're not always going to have a husband that is 100% of the time sacrificing himself for and his needs and wants and desires for the good of his family. And in those situations, if he's leading you in a way that doesn't fulfill his responsibilities, then it might not be right for you to submit to him in those situations. And it could be, you can go all sorts of like
wait.
decision tree rabbit hole. Yeah, if your husband's leading you to sin, should you submit to him, Adam?
It's absolutely. If I were a wife, should not submit to a husband's direction if it is not biblical.
Yeah, he said he beats me, so that means I have to get beaten by him. He's my master, it says in the Bible, Adam.
Yeah, that's not what it says.
That's exactly what it says under my ungenerous interpretation that I'm using for personal reasons.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's why you get abuse, and then you get like this weird whiplash of like, I don't have to listen at all. It's like, well, then why are we even getting married in the church at all under the eyes of the Lord?
Unclear to me. That's what I always said to people. They're like, how could any... I did have this conversation one time with a feminist, and she said, no man could ever do that. There wouldn't be... it's not possible. And I'm like, well, if they aren't willing to do it, then they probably shouldn't get married. Pearl clutchers. Oh my gosh. Yes, you shouldn't get married. And women, you shouldn't marry a man unless he's willing to sacrifice everything he has for you. That's what he promises to do when he marries you. And you're like, oh, I just knew that he wasn't going to do that anyway, so we started our marriage off on a lie. I wonder why the divorce rate's so high. I just can't figure it out. Out of all these mysteries abound.
Yeah, it's like maybe her forefathers had it right.
Yeah, many such things they had right. I did have also this fake thing. Old Brian Stelter was in the news talking about something or other. Let's look at this. He says, the GOP's anti-media streak is summarized. The governor of one of the biggest states in the USA says citizens should assume news outlets are lying to them. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on regular corporate media shows like some other person's show says, we all know corporate media lies, okay? They do not tell the truth. Assume what they tell you is false, and then figure out why they're telling you this false narrative. And this CNN journalist is just so taken aback. How could someone in politics say that the media is a bunch of liars? Oh, this obviously isn't true, and this is deceptive, and this is breaking down a fundamental part of our democracy. Freedom of the press is important. Fourth estate, journalist ethics and respect, because we never lie. To which Nicholas Sandman just replied howdy with cowboy hat emoji. For those of you who don't recall, Nicholas Sandman was the teenager in a red MAGA hat that was confronted by a Native American activist while in Washington, D.C., and all the news media said that he was taunting and road blocking and harassing this man when actually the opposite was true and he didn't do anything but stand there. Anyway, he settled with CNN for defamation.
Yeah.
I think my favorite reply was, and I don't know if I can find it, is, I hope part of the settlement was he's never allowed to block you on Twitter.
Oh.
And that's definitely what I put. If I had ever gotten one of these settlement agreements, there'd be all sorts of fun stuff, like your pinned tweet and profile description must always include that you're a lying son of a gun.
Yeah, it'd be like, you know, I don't know what the settlement would be like, you know, $1 million, and it'd be like, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put the pin on the tweet. I'm like, we'll shave off $500,000, and you have to have it for the rest of your.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a social media account, you have to have this.
Every time you do a TV interview and it has to air, you have to say the following phrase.
Introduce yourself as the liar.
Yes. I'm actually a confirmed liar and am untrustworthy. And I have to say this as part of my settlement agreement with this person.
Yeah, I feel like as part of my settlement agreement, in case 19-CV-3332, I have to say that I'm a liar. All right, now the interview can be.
Oh, wonderful. See, stuff like that. People don't understand the strength of contracts.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine the insurance company is going to be like, you're taking this deal," and they're
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't want to do this." They're like, "No, you just shaved off $500,000. You're taking this deal."
It's even better if they're like an on-air personality, because that means that every time they have to go on TV, they have to say that to the camera. This is CNN, and according to settlement in case number blah blah blah, I am a confirmed liar. Moving on to today's news.
Oh, so good. And you build it into where like they can't like substantially alter
Yeah.
their airtime, so they can't like sideline it.
So good. Just not creative enough.
It's like $50 and you have to do this every day. That's all I want, $50 from you. And then every day on your syndicated show, or not your syndicated show, every day on your nightly show, you have to say how much of a liar you are.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing. And it just confirms everything that he... At the front of every tweet. Or in his handle, it has to say, confirmed liar. The first part of his name.
And you can't delete it.
No.
You can't delete it.
It just... And then everything after that...
Settlement agreement.
Every comment under is just people trolling you. Because it's like, I don't know if I can believe this guy. There's just something about him that makes him sound untrustworthy. Not sure what it could be. Guys, that was like 2 years ago. Are you trying to say that you're not a confirmed liar? Because that might breach your settlement agreement.
I've been cured of my lies.
Hey, but, you know, people that write contracts like that just aren't as creative as our lawmakers who are trying to tax the unrecognized gains of wealthy individuals. Yes, if you hadn't heard, as part of one of these multi-trillion-dollar spending proposals that are on the table from the Democrats, one of the ways they intended to pay for it was to say, hey, if your investment appreciates in value by $100, then you have to pay us taxes on that, even though you have not recognized that gain by selling it at a profit.
Yeah, talk about fake.
Yes.
Taxing individuals on something that isn't real.
Correct. They have never recognized it. And this really comes into play in situations where you have like entrepreneurs who start their own business. And so you might start your business and then form a corporation, and it's not worth anything when you first get it. But in 10 years of hard work or whatever, and your company's worth $1 million, they're saying that you owe them tax on $1 million because the stock you hold in your company is now worth that much. And there's all sorts of questions about, like, okay, how are you going to do this if you're a privately held company? You don't have a valuation. You don't know how much it's worth. Does that mean that privately held companies have to be valued? Everybody who holds hard-to-value assets now has to have an annual valuation. What are they talking about?
You just spend $25,000 a year to get this done?
Yeah.
To figure out how much taxes you owe?
Oh, it seems very sane. Anyway, some senators said that this was insane and unworkable, and then Bernie Sanders came out and said, we can't let 2 senators hold up the will of 48 senators. Again.
Yeah.
Again. Forgetting that there's 100 members of the Senate. But the worst offender of all these super wealthy folks is that evil Elon Musk trying to improve our lives and bring humanity to the next stage of its exploration of the universe.
No, I have a theory. He's he's the only one who's working to get off of Earth, and they're coming in hard for him.
Oh, they are, as evidenced by these people that are promoting as Elon as the scapegoat to say why we need this wealth tax. They say Elon Musk made $36 billion yesterday. He can afford to pay his fair share of taxes.
No, fake. There's no way he made $38 billion or 36, whatever number you said. There's
Yeah.
no way he made that much.
No, his net worth went up by 36 billion. That means he got a check for $36 billion. He's sitting there in his Scrooge McDuck vault full of cash, swimming around in 36 billion extra bucks. That's how this works in these people's minds. And as far as I'm concerned, it's true.
And these people are the ones who don't have it.
An internal
These people are the ones who don't have. They don't actually think, right?
They don't have
an actual. They don't have thoughts.
Someone tried to explain it to this lady. This is actually a congresswoman who said this, by the way. So, and I'll withhold comment on that. He didn't make 36 billion. His company's worth raised. He doesn't have 36 billion in cash. He has to sell or liquidate his assets to get that in actual cash. I feel like people seriously don't understand how this works. And it's true, they do not understand.
No. And if he were to do that, if he were to like dump his stock, that would actually be he wouldn't get the value that he wouldn't get that 36 billion.
Yeah.
And he would probably bankrupt the company or something. This weird. He probably shocked the stock market.
Oh yeah, if he dumped all of his
do
stock, the share value would just go in the sewer.
Oh, definitely.
But he'd have to do that to pay his taxes if they started taxing him on billions of dollars of unrealized income. There's the only way you can pay for that stuff.
Exception. Look at section 1201.28. In lieu of paying actual taxes, you can actually just pay in kind with your stock to the U.S. government.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, is that true?
No, I made that up.
Oh,
I
wouldn't be surprised at all if they had something like that. But yeah, stuff like this is not well thought through. Because there's the hard to value asset thing, like I already talked about. There's basically you would have to make these people divest themselves. I think that's part of the goal, in fact, so that's not a negative for a lot of these people. But they can't openly talk about it because saying that out loud, people aren't going to think that's right. Instead, you're going to just talk about it in these kinds of terms, like he made $36 billion. And everybody, all the normies are out there thinking that, oh, he's just got $36 billion extra dollars later. Obviously, he should probably pay taxes on that. I pay taxes when I get money. He should pay taxes too. And then there's the things
that... He didn't get the money. He didn't get it. That's the thing.
Oh, he got it. Don't worry about that, Adam. And there's people like farmers and stuff.
No, I think you're wrong, Zach. You're saying like, oh, people, they don't think about it. The legislators don't think about this. I think they do think about this, and they want to exert the power and control, and they know that they can do it in a way that'll confuse the voter or confuse a constituent, and then they do that with malevolent intent.
Yeah, they're trying to trick them. They're tricky. They're trying to sell them their goods.
don't even go down
the other thing is like people that have low basis real estate, like farmers and stuff. Are you going to make farmers pay tax on the appreciated value of land that they've had since like 1960? The only way they got to do that is to sell their farm ground. to
Yeah.
some big megacorp.
You mean
That seems like a good idea.
pay in kind to the IRS?
Oh yeah, now the IRS is the largest holder of farmland in the country.
Yeah.
Some more commie bot gobbledygook, if you ask me. And there's some more explanation of the situation. Guy says unrealized capital gains means that if you buy stock for $100 and it goes up to $500 and then back down to $50, you owe tax on the $400 profit you never made. Yeah, sort of like that. The other side of this is they say it's balanced because you can then deduct from your income investment losses, and so it balances out on the other side, even though that also doesn't make sense. It's not like it's refundable. You know?
Oh.
They don't just give you a check. You have to have a tax liability, and then you can offset it by your losses. But anyway. And someone asked, would this unrealized gains tax include 401ks? That's interesting, right? Because you buy stock 10 years ago or whatever, you have 401k, and then you just wait, and it's like, oh, in this last year, mine's actually gone up by 60%. So I owe taxes on all that appreciation. But there has been some talk about getting at retirement income somehow, like taxing people's in retirement savings above a certain amount, which sounds insane to me because it's like disincentivizing retirement savings, which goes against American like policy for the last 100 years or whatever.
No, well, since like the 60s or 70s, when the lawyer tricked the IRS into getting 401ks, you know. I mean, that's right. Wasn't 401k? Wasn't that like an exploitation against the IRS code?
I've heard that bandied about, and I don't know anything about it other than that it sounds fake. It sounds like it was always in reading 401, section 401 of the Internal Revenue Code. It doesn't seem like you can take that any other way.
I mean, I don't know. The IRC was most recently redone in like '83 or something around there. So you'd have to look at
back in
even
then.
before then.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what the experts have. That's what I've learned from the experts. But I have seen like the doomsayers say like this whole thing's about getting at the retirement funds because there's I don't know, $8 trillion in retirement funds.
Yeah, it's exactly what this guy says. There's about $9 trillion in retirement account assets. If you think that's not their ultimate goal, you haven't been paying attention. They're just trying to dig deeper into your pocket to get at your assets so they can redistribute them to their special interest group friends.
Yeah, exactly. Who are for some reason centralized in green energy.
Wow, weird how all that happens, Adam.
I don't know. It's just like we need to do this. I'm like, oh, weird. You've been saying this for 20 years, and
well, maybe it's not just green energy. Maybe they need to right some wrongs that they committed in the past, Adam.
Oh, you mean abortion? What?
The Biden administration could pay illegal immigrant families separated at the U.S. border $450,000 per person in settlement agreements, according to the Wall Street Journal. This is the settlement of kids being separated from their parents at the border as part of Trump's oppressive, racist, un-American, and illegal conduct, traitorous even, that he should have been impeached for a 9th time. if we gotta pay these immigrant families, there's got to be a way to get that. And all you gotta do is dip into the American people's pocketbook, find those funds to pay to Mexican immigrants who came here in violation of our laws, and because of such, and while present with children, were put into custody where their children couldn't follow them because they broke the law and were arrested, and so had to be put into protective services. And a number of those children, in fact, weren't even separated from their parents, but were separated from coyotes and other illegitimate people that were trafficking them illegally across international borders. Well, anyway, they all deserve $450,000 each.
Hey, I got a $1,000 check for the COVID relief.
Rand Paul says, absolutely not. Absolutely not. A lot of people said, hey, when do I get my check for paying taxes most of my life?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's my $500,000 for paying taxes for most of my life? I think I deserve it, says this guy, and I think I deserve it. I think a lot of people deserve these giant checks that would cause hyperinflation and reduce my student loan debt to $0. To which pro-choice Moose replied.
What? What?
Pro-choice Moose replies. Moose. Moose.
Oh, Moose. I thought you Eupermist. I'm like, that sounds disgusting.
Did the government separate you from your children and then not tell you where they were? Is that this case? Because I know many a parent with children in foster care that might have a bone to pick. It's not fair. They separated me from my child. Wouldn't tell me where they were. Well, weren't you abusive and you threatened to kidnap them? It doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter why I was separated from them, apparently. If you do illegal conduct, you get put into prison. Did you have your child separated from you at the border? That apparently
Didn't you send them ahead with known kidnappers to traffic them across the border? What? Let's not get into specifics here.
We don't need to know all those nitty-gritty details to know that injustice was committed at them. Much like the injustice that was committed 10,000 years ago upon these ancient people that built these mega structures that are now covered by the waters of Lake Michigan and Lake Huron that have carvings of buffalo upon their sides.
These people deserved what they got.
More in my crackpot ancient Earth conspiracy. These apparently have been discovered for over a decade. And there's several different of these structures. And a scientist that deals in these sorts of things, and these ones in particular, was giving a breakdown. And they said they think that they're related to some sort of herding and trapping strategies that were done, but I don't know that we know anything because it's just some submerged structures that we hardly know anything about, except for that apparently they
herding and trapping.
Yes, what? These people built these large stone structures to help them herd and trap mammoths. This is a picture. This is a picture carved on the stones by the people that made these mega structures in the Ice Age.
Oh, it's so much clearer than any of those stupid cave paintings.
Yeah, this was 10,000 years ago, before they thought people even left Alaska. At the Great Lakes.
Before they even thought that people could do any pictures.
In the before time, Adam. That people seem to think nothing happened in. The tens of thousands of years of just nothing, no information about.
No trappings of mammoths. It's obviously like hey, we saw a mammoth.
Yeah. The history of mankind from the before time and the things that still exist imprinted in our psyche to this very day.
That they were in a valley that was lush with, fruits and vegetables that the Lord wiped out with his flood.
100%.
So that they would die.
This is one example of a civilization that was partially destroyed when the floods came. And it's undeniable that this has happened in several different places. I wonder why flood stories would be a part of everybody's, collective consciousness for the last 10,000 years. I can't puzzle it out.
Oh, that's such a clear picture too. That's crazy. I didn't see that.
Yeah. But other things are also lurking, other secrets, other darknesses deep in our psyche that are just becoming understood. One of the most frightening things I've ever heard is when someone pointed out that the existence of the uncanny valley implies that at some point there was an evolutionary reason to be afraid of something that looked human, but wasn't. Uncanny Valley is a sort of fear or uneasiness around people when they see like dolls and clowns and these kinds of things. And this person says, well, I didn't hate being awake until I saw this. And another person replied, saw a cool follow-up on this once that explained the likely genetic explanation was that there were creatures that looked human but weren't, in the Neanderthals and other prehistoric hominids in the genocidal conflict of survival. Something like that. That's right, because as we've previously discussed, the Neanderthals were not human analogs. They were hair-covered, vicious trolls with the strength to hurl a linebacker through a goalpost. They are the legend of ice trolls and yetis.
Nephilim.
And what are they called? The ones that Teddy Roosevelt herded into caves?
The Wendigo.
The Wendigo themselves. Lurking in the shadows of the night, waiting to steal your women and cut your throat. Geniuses in the animal world as far as intelligence goes, near human levels, nay, on par with us, some might say, but much stronger, much more aggressive. Grendel himself.
Ooh.
Murdering all of the Skadens in their meat house.
It's interesting because I think we've talked about it before about like how humans have a Neanderthal blood. So I actually just
are you talking
had
about
thought.
the original sin?
What? Oh, no. We were talking about it because Biden said something about Neanderthals and whatever.
Oh yeah.
But the sense that what if it was like an Aragorn style, like the only people who could defeat the Neanderthals were like half Neanderthal. You know, the only ones who had the strength to do it were those with Neanderthal blood, and the other humans died out.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking
in the
language.
epic battle.
That's
He is
what
the rightful king.
And now for something completely different. Hey, look at these guys move this U-Haul truck into a parking garage. That doesn't seem wise. I'm sure they'll stop right there, won't they? Oh no, they just ran right through.
I can't see it, Zach. I can't see it.
Oh no, hold on. Let me start it over.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
All right, U-Haul truck coming right into the parking garage. Oh, it looks like it already hit something. They must have got warned. They must have heard that when they hit that thing. They're going to stop before they go any further. Oh my gosh, no! And from here, I don't even know what their plan is.
No.
I don't understand what they're doing.
Why the angle?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Like, what is happening now?
I was like, oh my gosh. The first
They
time I
obviously
watched
just
this.
ran over a curb or something. They just try to ram it through. It's like, what is this? Obviously, you're not going to get over whatever it is you're running over. But they've hit the lights, they've hit the thing, and the sprinklers have started. So now there's water being sprayed everywhere.
I don't even know what this is. This is brown water, dude. I think they had a sewer line.
The sprinkler lines don't circulate, so they get like deposits and stuff.
Oh, not as fun as what I thought.
I mean, I don't know. It could have just been a filthy truck on top or whatever, but I think that's usually what it is.
I don't.
These
Yeah. See, it's like who. It's like, what are they even doing?
it's pouring on them now. It's just like completely coming down. And this guy, he gets out of the truck again to look to see what's happening. He's like, I just can't see. I don't know what's going on here.
You're good. You're good.
What are we hung up on? Try again. Oh, I don't know why this isn't working.
Like I can't even see. Nah,
Turn
you're good.
on the windshield. They don't even turn on the windshield wipers. They're like, oh, let me check it out. Oh, it's really wet out there. Oh, I don't know, man. I think if we gas it, we can get through.
I'm looking at it here. I'm like, okay, so now they've got a plan. They're just gonna back. They're just gonna back out.
I thought they were just gonna back out. Nope.
These types of people are on the opposite side of the road from you every day when you're driving. Every day when you're driving from point A to point B, these people are coming at you 25 to 65 miles an hour, 2 feet away from you.
This is true, and it's terrifying. Best not to think about it. That is the curse of knowledge. And finally, we have our ice cold fact of the week, coming to you straight from Ice-T's Twitter feed. Ice cold fact: today is the oldest you've ever been, and the youngest you'll ever be. Enjoy every effing second possible. And it shows a spectacular image of ice in a, what color would you call that suit?
It's like a maroon or magenta.
Magenta suit with magenta shoes, sitting on a park bench next to his American Bulldog. Ice cold fact. I agree. And finally, I did want to mention that Sabaton, my new second favorite band, they haven't quite overtaken Metallica, number one in my heart. I have to listen to more of their stuff to know for sure. But they have released the first single off their to-be-released album, and the single is called Christmas Truce, and it is amazing. And here is a little clip for you. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, the Christmas truce, right?
Yeah. It was 1914 Christmas time. There was spontaneous truces called by the units across the trenches from each other, from the British, French, and German lines.
To celebrate Christmas.
Yes, well, not just that, but apparently it was periodic, and slowly as the war drug on, the truces became fewer and fewer as the bitterness of the long fighting and horrific war weared on everybody. But, lest we forget, apparently a cross was erected, similar to what is shown in the music video, and they have special reference to that at the end, that there was a cross erected, lest we forget, and put up in the battlefield to commemorate the Christmas truce, acknowledging humanity even in the face of brutal war and suffering. Anyway, the music video touches on these themes as well as the song. It's really good. All of Sabatone's songs are just so good. Just gonna go. I'm gonna go get some more whiskey and just crank up the music and wake up my whole family.
There you go. It's a good call for a Friday night.
All right, well, that's our show, folks. Really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, smash like, subscribe to the channel, comment below for your favorite part of the show. Maybe not even trying to point out how this channel might be racist or anti-Semitic or anything like that. Share it with all of your friends. You can follow us on social media. Our social media handles are located right on the screen. Adam, did you have anything you'd like to add here at the end of the show?
Happy Reformation Day. It's coming on Sunday, I think, which is, the Lord's Day. So study up on, Zwingli and John Knox. Going to need it soon. So, yeah.
I just hang my 5 points tulip. Is it a rose or a tulip?
The tulip.
Yeah.
Because tulip is an acronym for the 5 points of Calvinism.
Yeah, there you go. I hang that up on my wall.
For
predestinationist.
Calvinism, yeah.
Fully subscribed to it. All right, folks.
There's like the 5 solas, and then there's like the 5 points of Calvinism. The 5 solas is adopted by all the so
3 solas.
Just one sola Deo Gloria. Let's go.
There you go. Well, I mean, technically true. All right, folks. We really hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time on Triggered. Good night.